Welcome back to the diesel page. Today's video includes some of the under-hood Duramax swap details that are necessary to put the truck together. Then once you know how to make it run, we'll take Lil Red on a road trip. Lil Red was actually built for road trips, or power touring. The 9-blade composite fan you see here was actually produced for the 2001 to 2004 LB7 equipped GM trucks. This particular fan was modified by trimming its stock diameter of 21 inches to 19 inches to produce a better fit for the fan shroud. The modified fan still moves a lot of air, and I would feel comfortable using a 19-inch modified fan in an OBS truck used to tow substantial loads. But it's up to you whether you want to modify the fan used in your build. However, using an unmodified fan will require some modification to the fan shroud. The fan shroud used in Lil Red was produced for the 1994 and newer OBS trucks equipped with a 6.5-liter turbo diesel and its stock 19-inch diameter 6-blade steel fan. The plastic used to produce the shroud is quite rigid, being about 1/4 of an inch thick. You can lean on it or even sit on it without much in the way of deflection. There's never been any rubbing or fan contact with the shroud, even under extreme loads seen at the racetrack. You can see here that the fan shroud bumps up above the core support by about 1.5 inches. This allows for a taller radiator, yet it all still fits under the hood. And by the way, the radiator I'm using for Lil Red was produced for the LB7 equipped trucks. I learned during the Duramax swap that the LB7 equipped trucks used a radiator that was the same physical size as the radiator used in the 1994 and newer OBS equipped with the 6.5-liter turbo diesel. Both radiators are produced with an aluminum core, composite end tanks, and the inlet and outlet are sized and positioned the same. The biggest difference is the size of the ATF cooler fittings. So, I was able to use all 1994 plus OBS 6.5 diesel radiator mounting hardware, including the OBS brackets and rubber mounts. For perspective, shown here is our 1994 6.5-liter turbo diesel Chevy Blazers fan assembly, radiator, fan shroud, and mounting hardware. Note the relative position of the fan in relation to the fan shroud. There's room behind the grille for a full-size intercooler, modified air conditioning condenser, ATF cooler, and power steering cooler. Some have mounted the intercooler on the engine side of the core support, but that location crowds the space ahead of the engine to a point that it prevents the use of an engine-driven fan and forces OBS swap owners to add electric fans. An electric fan pair like that offered by Flexolite can only move about 5,500 CFM. The stock 9-blade engine-driven fan can move up to 10,000 CFM at 3,000 RPM. Plus, an electric fan assembly depends on a reliable 12-volt power and its related systems. Like wiring, grounds, relays, and switches, an engine-driven fan will always operate whenever the engine is running. Throughout the production years from 1988 to 1998, these OBS trucks were offered with either the vacuum brake booster system or the hydraulic booster system. and either are interchangeable on the same truck. No modifications are required, you just have to have the parts. What I did for Lil Red was I purchased a 1994 hydraulic brake booster and a 1994 model year master cylinder, and they bolted right on. The diesels, as everyone knows, don't produce vacuum, so you have to have some way to provide assist for the braking system and the power steering. So the best way to do it is to get a hydraulic brake booster and a brake master cylinder designed for either the 6.5 diesel or the 454 big block gas engines. The big block gas engine equipped trucks also had the hydraulic brake booster assembly in it. It was a direct bolt-in that didn't require any modifications to the truck or the brake pedal assembly inside the cab. You can see here that I used an AFE intake system produced back during the time this truck was put together, but there were probably numerous others on the market today that would work just as well or work mechanically fit into the location. The cold air intake itself, the box that the filter housing mounts to the original battery tray, and it seemed to be a perfect spot to bolt the intake air box. So looking out toward the engine, you'll see this is the original factory intake hose assembly. And I did have to massage it a little bit with a heat gun to get it to fit the way that I wanted it to, because of the hood clearance, but it all seems to work very well. The pressure tubes for the intercooler are all factory original except for the modifications at the intercooler side, and I lengthened those a little bit to fit the wider dimension of the radiator modification that I made. You can also, in this image, you can see the air conditioning hose assembly, the high pressure side of the air conditioning system. It was modified. I had a friend in the auto AC business, and he helped me put this together. But it's not difficult. Everything works together. I did use a new dryer on the firewall when I put it together to get as much of the oil and the original R12 chemicals out of the system. But that, plus I used a brand new condenser designed for the OBS trucks, and I just made the modification with the hoses to make it all fit together. Now in my truck, I chose to put the TCM, the Allison transmission control module, mounted in the corner of the engine bay. As you see here, it was I thought it was a little too tight to put it where GM put it in the newer trucks, located on the fan shroud. There just wasn't enough room. It encroached out into the area where I put the ECM, and it was just too tight in my estimation. Now some people have put it there, and it worked fine for them. It looked good, but I wasn't able to make it work in a way that I thought was attractive, so I didn't do it. It's easy to work on up here. I've had this on and off 2 or 3 times in the length of time that the truck has been operational, and I don't know, the wire lengths are perfectly suited for this particular location, so you're not stressing the wiring, and it's in probably a cooler location than it is when it's on the fan shroud. But nonetheless, there are options when you assemble your truck, and you can put it about where you want to. One of the things that you can see here is that there is plenty of clearance between the firewall and the back of the turbocharger outlet. There's actually more room here than there is on the GMT 800, the 2001 to 2007 trucks. So there's plenty of room, and I didn't put any heat insulation on the firewall. I kind of wish I had now, but there's not been a problem with heat inside the truck. There's actually a thick insulation pad that is pressed onto the firewall under the dash, so it keeps heat at bay. I've seen some people on the internet with that have put foil-faced heat shielding padding on the firewall. It's self-adhesive, and I think if I were doing this again, that's what I would do. At least in the area surrounding the engine. Maybe not on the whole firewall, but just on the parts behind the engine. Probably not necessary, but it wouldn't be a bad time to do it before the engine goes in. Here are the odometer boost and EGT gauges I installed in Lil Red. Make a mental note of where the 20 psi reading is located on the pressure dial, as well as the 800 to 1000 degree EGT marks. The boost pressure gauge is capable of reading more pressure than I need, but when the gauges were first installed, I thought I might need to install a different turbocharger at some point. Turns out I didn't install another turbocharger, but I did install a Banks Big Head turbo wastegate controller that provides some control over the maximum boost pressure. Currently, the wastegate in Lil Red is set to produce 25 psi. The gauges are shown and discussed here to allow you to see what the boost level and EGT are currently on the truck while running at indicated highway speeds. Also note that the speedometer tops out at 100 miles per hour, with the 50 mile per hour number shown at the 12 o'clock position. The truck is equipped with a 5-speed Allison transmission having a 0.71 fifth gear overdrive ratio, 3.42 differential gearing, and 32 inches diameter Goodyear Eagle 275 55 R20 tires. Typically, this produces 80 miles per hour at about 2,000 RPM while on the interstate here in Montana. The ECM is programmed to govern the engine at 4,000 RPM. A little math will provide the calculated speeds at any RPM in between. Incidentally, the speedometer is actually quite accurate, up to its 100 mile per hour limit, that is. So ride along with me for the next few minutes on a road trip that I took recently here through southwestern Montana. This 2-lane highway usually sees only light traffic, so it provided a great opportunity to stretch the legs a bit. I've been running a highway-friendly Kennedy Diesel ECM program for the past few years. This programming allows the driver to switch select between two different tunes. Number 1, a stock power fuel economy tune. I'm assuming 300 flywheel horsepower. Or number 2, a plus 100 horsepower tune, or 400 horsepower total. You can actually feel the difference in power when switching between the two. The stock setting produces almost no smoke at the tailpipe when first accelerating, but you can see a bit of smoke at the tailpipe during the first couple of seconds when accelerating with the plus 100 power setting, at least until the boost pressure catches up. The ECM power setting was toggled to the plus 100 power setting for this road trip. Of course it was. Passing, climbing hills, and accelerating are all effortless and brisk when using only a fraction of the available accelerator pedal, even at this 6,000 foot elevation. It's a fun truck to drive. This is our Duramax conversion guide that was put together after completing Lil Red. All of the hard parts of the swap are covered in this color guide. The tremendously successful Duramax 6600 diesel engine can be easily tuned to produce more horsepower than you could possibly use on the street, while delivering 25 miles per gallon at 75 miles per hour in a truck like that shown here. We've proven that a decent backyard mechanic who can perform some light fabrication and who understands basic automotive wiring diagrams can successfully complete a project like this, and for less money than you might think. With care and attention to detail, the information presented in this guide will help you produce a high-quality conversion of your own that looks as though the truck left the GM assembly plant with the Duramax under the hood. The swap guide shown here contains 62 pages with more than 117 images and diagrams, and easy-to-understand text that will guide you through the process. Information covering the important electrical connectors, connector pinouts, and wiring considerations that are necessary to produce a running vehicle are included, and you can contact Jim through the comments section right here in YouTube, or visit the forum blog linked below. To visit our online forum blog featuring this truck and its build, there's a ton of free information there. Click the link in the description below. And finally, please like and subscribe and post your comments. You can help us reach even more people. Thank you for watching.